You guys have asked for it, and here I am. If you ask, I shall deliver. We're doing another Mafia recommendation video. I haven't done one in such a long time. I did one last year that blew up, and then I did a Russian brat bar kind of mob video as well. And I recommended all my favorite Mafia romances in that as well. So I thought it's time to do another one because I haven't done one in such a long time. And there's a few that I didn't mention when I filmed that video, and also there's a few that I've read recently that I've fallen in love with. So, you know, here we are. I just want to say now, if you were a woman in this world and you romanticize about the Mafia, you are fucked up. And that's okay, because I've created this space on the internet. We're all fucked up here. None of us are normal. Daddy issues, mummy issues, we've got the fucking lot. I have read so many Mafia romance books to the point now that I find it really hard to come across ones that are good, because I've read the best of the best. But the ones that I'm going to recommend today, I've recently read and fell in love with, or they are ones that I've read like a while ago and have just not mentioned them on my channel yet, or in a specific trope style video. So without further ado, my bitches, let's get into the video. Just a little disclaimer, if you're not a dark romance reader, if you're someone that has triggers when it comes to sexual assault, rape, molestation, drug abuse, drug use, murder, assault, like anything that's a bit gory and a little too detailed, Mafia romances are not for you, okay? They're dark romances. They shine light on very heavy topics. And Mafia romances are twisted love stories. Absolutely fucking twisted, but that's why I like them, because we're all a little bit twisted, you know what I mean? Sick and twisted. Hoodies are available. Link down below. Get yours now. Let's get into the steam. Okay, let's get into the alpha males that ruined my fucking soul, and if they were real, that would probably ruin my vagina too. Did I just say that on a YouTube video? Yes, I fucking did. I think I've mentioned this series before, but I haven't mentioned it in like a trope style video, and especially not a Mafia styled video, because it is actually about the cartel. And usually my Mafia romance videos, they're either like Russian or Italian, but I wanted to mention this because it's so fucking good. And you know, it's the cartel, Mafia, cartel, tomato, tomato, you know what I mean? Like same but different. So these books here are from Jessica Hawkins, and this is the Violent Delight series. So this series has 3 books. We've got the first book here, which is called Violent Delight. The cover is one of my favorites of all time. Then we have the second book here, which is called Violent Ends, with this very sexy man on the front cover. And then the third book, which is Violent Triumphs. I read this a few months ago and I fucking fell in love with it so much. If you're someone that likes cartel stuff, like even like the shows and stuff on Netflix, you'll like this series. This series is a little fucking insane, I'm not gonna lie. It's fucking intense, a lot of plot twists. There's a lot of like graphic shit that happens in this book, so it's pretty much about this girl. Her dad runs the cartel in, is it Mexico or Colombia? I cannot fucking remember which one. Her dad's always been pretty open and honest about the cartel with her, so she's not naive to the world that she lives in and what her father and his men do, but she definitely doesn't want to be part of it, and she's planning on moving to the States with her lover and her boyfriend, who in fact works for her father. Her mother ended up getting killed many years ago. The person who killed her was actually their really good family friend and bodyguard who used to protect her and her mother, and it's actually her lover's older brother. He ended up getting away after the murder, and the murderer of her mother ends up coming back into her life and kind of rekindles business with her father, and she kind of spins out about this because she's like, Dad, he murdered mom, like the love of your life. He, the murderer of her mother, ends up infatuated by her, and yeah. Let's not forget that she's already with his younger brother. This was really addictive, this series, but the one thing I didn't like about the heroine was she was just that typical fucking heroine that every author writes in these stupid Mafia books. You know, she's in love with the bad guy, wants the bad guy, but she's ashamed by wanting the bad guy, so she just doesn't like admit to her feelings and she constantly pushes him away. This man though, this mother murderer, bitch, he's everything. He's everything and more. As I said, lots of plot twists in this series, and also the ending is epic. It's low-key like a fucking Hollywood movie. I was like, whoa, this is a little bit extreme, but it was enjoyable. why doesn't anyone write cartel series? Like, everyone writes Mafia, but not like cartel. I find it really hard. Like, this is the only one I found. And I did find another one by Lily St. Germain, I think her name is, a few months ago, but I didn't like it. But I want more cartel stuff. Let's spice it up a little bit. Next up, we have Denim Vipers by K.A Knight. I've mentioned this book so many times before. If you are someone that loves reverse harem, this one's for you. If you didn't know, reverse harem is a trope, and it means a relationship between one woman and multiple men. They're all in a relationship with her, and yeah, she's in a relationship with them. Even though this is Mafia, this is definitely more on the erotic side. It's pretty much a big book of porn, I'm not gonna lie, and all different types of porn. In this book, the sex scenes are very detailed and very graphic. There's a lot of blood play, knife play, intense sex is in this, like dangerous shit that's not normal. And I was honestly quite surprised that I enjoyed reading this, especially the knife scene. I was like, wow, that's a little fucking interesting, isn't it? A little bit like on the edge of your seat, like, am I gonna orgasm or am I gonna die? It's about this girl and her dad owes the mafia money, a typical storyline that we hear all the time. And to pay back the mafia, the father is pretty much like, you can have my daughter. So these mafia men take her and keep her captive. It isn't as like taboo and like no-no as it sounds. They are actually really nice to her and they don't treat her like shit. They don't even want to keep her captive, but they just kind of can't not take her, because then it will make them look like they're weak, and then they need to obviously look like they're strong. So they end up taking her and putting her in their penthouse. And yeah, she begins having a relationship with every one of them, and they are like brothers as well. So it's pretty intense. It's really good. I know a lot of people have read this because of me and really enjoyed it. But yeah, it doesn't have a heavy mafia plot. The plot isn't very heavy. But if you want some like pure erotica, some sex that's gonna, you know, get things going and going real good, this is for you. Oh, I really enjoyed this. So I read this a couple of months ago, and this is from the author Tillie, and this is called Lord of London Town. Now, when I found this, when like she released it a few months ago and I saw it on Instagram, I was like, yes. So this is Mafia, but it's in the UK, so it's like done differently. It's like the UK Mafia. Oh my fucking god. Oh my god. The Lord of London Town, yes sir. He, oh my god. Mind you, Tillie writes extremely dark romances, like not light shit at all. She's one of the darkest authors I read, and sometimes I can't even read her books because even I have like boundaries and limits that I just can't get down with. And this motherfucker, man, this man, wow, he is fucked. This had a really good plot twist as well, and I really enjoyed the heroine. I loved the whole aspect of this book, the fact that it wasn't Russian or Italian and it was just like in Britain. Yeah, it just, I don't know, it was different and it was something good. So it's just about this guy who's in the mafia. He ends up falling for this chick who comes from like the other side of town and like comes from a pristine family and has lots of money. I'm pretty sure her family is involved with politics. I could be wrong. I can't really remember, it was a while ago. And they kind of are obsessed with each other, but they can't really be together. Oh, and so much shit goes on, like she almost gets killed and then she goes and finds him and then he like protects her. And that's kind of when the relationship starts between the two of them. But I will say, I find it hard to read Tillie's writing. There's something about Tillie's writing that just doesn't really mesh with me well. She doesn't write the type of romances and books in general that I can just fly through. So this one did take me a while to read, not because it was bad writing, but just the way that she writes. It's just not my type of writing, you know what I mean? But I really did like this book. The next book is Kingpins Foxglove by Bree Porter. Bree, I really enjoyed this book, babe, but the name is a bit of a tongue twister for me, okay? Bree is actually an Australian author, my Australian sister. She actually lives in Perth. And when I found this out, I spun the fuck out because she is the author of the Ricchetti, is it the Ricchetti dynasty? I've mentioned that Mafia series before, and she did such a good job. I thought that she was like from America because I was just, yeah, I couldn't, I was like, you wrote Mafia so well and you live in fucking Perth? It just makes no sense. Anyway, this is our next series, and this is about the Russian brat bar. So yay to that. I love reading Russian brat bar. Very interesting. Spice it up a little bit. And these two characters you meet in the first series that she wrote, but you don't necessarily have to read them to know what the fuck's going on in here. Oh my god. This was a ride. A lot of plot twists in this book. I was really wowed by it, and I can't wait to read the fucking second one. This book has like a lot of angst too, and even at the beginning I was just dying for the two main characters to get together. The dude in this is a part of the Russian brat bar, and the female in this is a part of the Italian mafia. She recently lost her husband. Is that correct? Am I saying that right? Or is that a different book? Yes, that's right. Yes. Elena Falcone, yeah. And then she ends up with this Russian man. Love it. Bloody good. If you love Russian brat bar stuff, this is brilliant. Bree doesn't get enough fucking hype for her Mafia books. She really fucking doesn't. And she does them so well. Like, she really researches shit. Because when I read, like, Mafia stuff, like, romances, I'm like, I need to fucking find out if this shit's true. So I get on Google. And I do the research, okay? I get down there deep, man, and find out if this shit happens. And, it's very interesting. But yeah, I really liked this book, and it's a really good take on the Russian brat bar and something super different. The story was unique, and I really liked it. So this is a recent release, and I read this last week or the week before, and this is the Brit. And it's about this guy that was raised in Britain. He had like a really fucked up childhood, okay? Like a lot of abuse and shit happened to him. His life was not a vibe, that's for sure. And he's like living on the streets, trying to survive, poor boy. He witnesses this murder that is committed by the Mafia when he's like a child. And the boss man of the Mafia notices this kid and like goes over to him. They have a conversation. He gives him money because he sees that he's all like living in poverty. And then he sees that this little boy has been like hurt really bad by his stepfather and offers to take him in and raise him as his own. So fucking sweet. And makes him this fucking like absolute sociopath man. This motherfucker doesn't think twice about skinning someone alive. Like, he just does it. He just has no emotions and like no feelings and shit, like the typical fucking alpha male in most of these books. But he was a spunkaroo. May I just tell you, he was steam-worthy baby, and I was in this book. I was so in it. Then you have this girl who is involved with some really dangerous people, and she's kind of like, oh, it's sad, but she's kind of like a sex slave, I guess you would say, and she does all this like dirty work for this other group of mobby people. So they kind of tee her up with people that they're wanting to work with or whatever to get intel. She ends up dating a lot of like politicians and stuff like that. She's just stuck in this lifestyle because the mob group that she's currently hanging with has shit on her and is blackmailing her. So she has no other choice but to do a lot of their dirty work via sexual relations. Anyway, she ends up at this fucking poker game with this politician and with the Brit. And the Brit is working with this politician and decides to take her with him as like payment, and is like, until you pay my shit, you're not getting your misso back. And yes, it goes from there. And it's very much like an enemies to lovers situation. It was so fucking good. It was so good. So fucking good. Very dark though, I must admit. It's quite dark, but oh my god, it was so good. Okay, so the next book I want to talk about is Filthy by Serena. That's her last name. I'm not going to try and say that because I'm going to butcher it. So this is the 5 Points Mob Collection, Book 1. Okay, first off, we need to have a chat. I am not usually into Irish mafia mob romances. I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't know why. Until I read this series and I was like, maybe, just maybe, I am down with the Irish. Okay, I'm just saying, maybe I am down with the Irish mafia and I can make room for them as well. I do not discriminate around here. I make room for all different criminal syndicates, okay? You're all welcome here. This one was really, really good. This series is really good. I've read 2 of the books, but the one that I want to recommend is the first one called Filthy. So it's about this dude who runs like the 5 Points. Oh, yes, the 5 Points mob in New York, and he is collecting buildings or something. Oh, I don't know, but he ends up walking into this like tea room and he's like, I'm buying this. And there's this chick in there who owns it, and she's just struck with awe with this dude because he's stunning, darling. Deliciously stunning. And she actually grew up around him and his family, but he hasn't connected the ties yet. And she's just like, oh my God, you are gorgeous. She's also not your typical female heroine in a book who's super skinny, got the tan skin, plump lips. Like, she's a redhead. She's like very curvy. She's quite pale. She's very like, yeah, it was a different type of heroine, which I can appreciate because I was like, can relate. Okay? Can relate. Like this, people think I'm pale now. Man, I'm fake tanned. Like, this is a tan for me. I honestly look like Casper the Ghost if I don't have tan on. I'm translucent. I'm albino, like literally. I don't know. My mum's quite tan. I don't know how I got like this. Anyway, off topic. It was pretty insta-lovey, I will admit. So they end up getting together pretty quick, and it's really like raunchy, super good sex. He's just like rocking her world, and she's not naive to the mob world either because she kind of grew up around it. But then something happens to her and they can't be sexually active. And that was a part of the book that I really, really, really liked. I really liked the dynamic between these two characters, and yeah, it was just something different. I really liked it. I really got down with the Irish, and I was really shocked by it because I usually don't read Irish mob like romances. I just don't. I don't gravitate towards them. So yeah, this one was really good, and it's a series. I've read the second book as well, and that was really good as well. So if you're looking for like a Mafia Irish mob series to binge, you should check this one out, definitely. Then I read The Bloody Union by Brooke Summers. This was fucking good. I loved the heroine in this so fucking much. She was a boss ass bitch. Oh, I love a Mafia romance with a boss ass bitch. I hate these fucking bitches that cry and they're all like scared. Fuck up. This book was so good. So it's about this girl. She's involved with the Irish Mafia, and she actually has to marry into the Italian Mafia. So they end up having a wedding that becomes a bloody union, and her Italian Mafia husband is shocked by her behavior because she ends up like pulling out a gun and shooting people as well. Boss bitch. Yes. He was expecting like this really, like, you know, this really shy type of like Irish girl, and he ended up getting this Irish girl who's fucking full of zest and fire and will put a bullet between your fucking eyes if you speak to her wrong. And then he ends up learning like more about her, and it's just kind of like taken back by how powerful this woman truly is. Oh, I love them too because, you know, their dynamic was good. They both were powerful and they both had like, oh, I don't know. They were good. I loved it. I love this book. It definitely reminded me of like Cora Riley. So if you are looking for something similar to Cora Riley's books, you should check out this one. I'm going to read the second one. You're all gonna laugh because ever since I posted my first Mafia book recommendation video, everyone told me you need to read the Maid series or whatever it is from Danielle. And I tried to read the first book and I fucking DNF'd it because I hated it. I did not like the first book. I did not get into it. I was like, this is boring. Anyway, lots of people told me, keep going. Read the second book. Bitch. So this is the Maddest Obsession by Danielle. I just finished this today and I kid you not, I am obsessed. I never thought that I was going to love this as much as I did. I loved this so much. So it's about this girl who is married to the head boss or one of the head bosses in New York. She's quite young. He's an older man and her husband is tied up with this dirty fed. She is super attracted to this dirty fed and things just keep happening to her where the federal agent will come in and kind of save her. I never thought I needed a dirty fed in my life. This dirty fed is everything and more. I am usually like, fuck the po-po. You know what I mean? Fuck the government. Not into it. I'm like, yes, you criminal. Get your coin. But this man, this fucking man, and I want to tell you so bad, but it kind of gives away a little bit of the book. He is a secret foreigner with an accent that I love. Yes. I won't tell you anymore. But that just makes the book so much better because he's so secretive and he hides himself. Oh my god, you need to fucking read this book like right now. I'm going to read the next one, which is actually set in Moscow, which is super exciting because it's about the Bratva, obviously. But I loved this book so much. If you haven't read it because I very much enjoyed it. I very much enjoyed it. I loved it. I loved it so much. So that's it for my Mafia recommendations. I'm currently reading more right now. I'm sure that by the end of the month there will be another recommendation video for Mafia. That was a bit fun. I hope you guys fucking enjoyed. If you did, thumbs it up. Also subscribe before leaving. And I'll see you bitches, you sick twisted bitches, in my next video. Bye.